The image you picked wasn't a choice you made, it was a reaction you felt. Before you reasoned, before you judged, you simply responded. That magnetic pull toward one couple, that split-second recognition, didn't come from nowhere. It came from within. This wasn't about what you think. It's about what you sense. Most days, your conscious mind is in charge, plotting, planning, and playing by the rules. But beneath that surface, there's a deeper, more intuitive layer that listens to a different language. It's a language of posture, of space, of the quiet tension between two bodies. And right now, it's speaking to you. Your choice is a reflection of your inner emotional landscape, a signal of what your heart recognizes, or perhaps what it is seeking. We aren't here to judge or label you. This is about awareness. When your eyes scanned the options, your thoughts might have rushed in with questions. But your emotional system had already decided. It processed the unspoken dialogue, the distance, the energy. These signals bypass logic and connect directly to your lived experience. Sometimes we lean toward distance because closeness once wounded us. Sometimes we crave intensity because silence felt like emptiness. Sometimes we seek equilibrium because chaos drained us. And sometimes we are drawn to clarity because ambiguity once felt dangerous. Your deepest needs often whisper through your simplest choices. Each couple you saw represents a distinct emotional blueprint, a mirror held up to the longings, the protections, and the unresolved whispers that live just below the surface of your awareness. As we explore, you may find some reflections comforting and others challenging. Both are valuable guides. First, hold that initial feeling in your mind. Not the label, not the number, just the raw sensation of being drawn. That instinctive this one. If this process of looking inward resonates with you, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Winds of Thought. It supports this channel and ensures you join us for more journeys into understanding. Now let's begin to translate that feeling. The way you relate to others often holds the key to how you've learned to guard and open your own heart. If you were drawn to the first pair, what likely called to you was a sense of quiet containment. They are near, yet something feels carefully held back. Their connection exists within a boundary. There's no visible storm, just a deliberate, respectful space. Choosing this dynamic often points to a profound need for emotional self-preservation. You likely possess a rich interior life. You observe, you process, you feel deeply. But you've learned that expression must be measured. Perhaps vulnerability was met with indifference, or openness led to being overwhelmed. So you developed a strategy of mindful distance. This isn't about being cold, it's about being careful. You value your autonomy, sometimes finding it hard to ask for help even when it's needed. When feelings run high, your instinct might be to withdraw and self-regulate. The strength here is immense: resilience, self-reliance, and the capacity to hold quiet strength. The challenge? Needs that go unspoken can become needs that go unmet. This guardedness may protect you from pain, but it can also, unintentionally, protect you from profound closeness. If this feels familiar, ask yourself, what part of me learned that caution was the safest path? And is that lesson still my protector, or is it now my gatekeeper? You don't need to discard your walls. You might simply experiment with a door. If the second couple captured you, it was likely the energy between them, a palpable charge, a vibrant and urgent connection. This isn't a still pond, it's a living current. Choosing this intensity often speaks to a soul that engages with emotion fully. You don't do things by halves. When you love deeply. When you connect, you immerse. Superficial interactions leave you restless. You crave bonds that feel fated, profound, and all-encompassing. This comes from a powerful sensitivity. You're tuned to the emotional frequencies around you. To feel everything is both a gift and a gravity. The bright side is a capacity for remarkable loyalty, passion, and depth. The shadow side can be a blurring of lines where your sense of self becomes entangled with another. The fear of losing that connection can feel existential. Silence might trigger anxiety. Distance can feel like abandonment. This pattern often forms when love felt conditional, something that required proof to be secure. If this resonates, consider, do I mistake emotional turbulence for true connection? Can I find steadiness within intensity? Learning to trust that a bond can be deep and breathe is the real work. If the third pair felt like a refuge, what you recognized was stability, a sense of quiet partnership, of mutual ground. Nothing is straining. Everything is in harmony. This choice frequently reflects a desire for emotional equilibrium. You may have already navigated turbulent waters and now value peace above drama. You understand that lasting connection is built on consistency, respectful communication, and shared presence. There is a mature strength here. You know how to be present without being intrusive, to give support without creating dependency. For you, love is about alignment, not combustion. However, the pursuit of harmony has its quiet cost. The need to keep peace can lead to avoiding necessary conflicts. You might minimize your own discomfort to maintain balance, fearing that strong emotions could disrupt the calm. If this is you, reflect. Do I allow my full emotional range, or just the peaceful parts? Does my calm sometimes come from containment? True maturity isn't the absence of waves. It's knowing you can navigate them together. If the fourth couple stood out, it was likely the structure. A clear dynamic, a sense of order, and defined roles. One guides, the other follows. The framework is understood. For some, this feels constraining. For others, it feels incredibly safe. Choosing this dynamic often indicates a deep-seated belief that clarity equals security. Ambiguity and unpredictability may feel threatening because chaos once had a cost. This isn't necessarily about domination. It's about creating a manageable, predictable, emotional world. You likely value decisiveness, responsibility, and reliability. There is power in this. The ability to lead, to provide, to hold things together. But control casts a long shadow. Vulnerability can feel like a dangerous loss of footing. Expressing uncertainty or softness might be difficult if those feelings were ever framed as weaknesses. Whether you take the leading or following role, parts of you may remain unexpressed to preserve the structure. Ask yourself, does my need for order keep parts of my heart in order? What would happen if I soften the edges just a little? Strength isn't diminished by flexibility, it's enhanced by it. Finally, if the fifth couple was your call, it was likely the space. Together, yet distinctly separate. A connection that allows for individuality to flourish. This choice speaks to a soul that cherishes autonomy. You desire partnership, but not fusion. You want to choose someone, not need them in a way that consumes your identity. This perspective is often hard-won, born from witnessing or experiencing relationships where selves were lost. You've built a wise rule. Love should expand you, not erase you. There is great maturity in this. The ability to love without clutching, to care without controlling. But freedom, too, has its dilemmas. Your need for space can be misinterpreted as detachment. You might hesitate to fully sink into commitment, worrying it will mean surrendering your sovereignty. There's a delicate balance between being open and being independent. Reflect. Do I allow myself to need or only to choose? Can I be interconnected without feeling trapped? The truest freedom in love is the security to be both bound and boundless. As we conclude, remember, this isn't a permanent definition. It's a snapshot of where you are now, of the lessons your heart has prioritized. We all move between these dynamics throughout our lives. The insight isn't in the right choice, but in the conversation it starts within you. And sometimes that simple act of noticing is the most profound step toward understanding yourself.